Today we're heading on a New Zealand biking tour here on the Great Taste Trail in the northern tip of the South Island in the Nelson Tasman region. Let's get started and pick up the bike and meet the local operator Chris from Gentle Cycling.
It is a wonderful e-bike.
Right, tell me a little bit more about it. What do I need to do?
Well, it's a bit cheesy, but it's just like riding a bike. So it's pedal assist, which means that when the motor is on, you do the power setting, but you pedal, and as you pedal, it does a lot of the work for you.
For the first section of the Great Taste Trail from Nelson to Mapua, it's around about 35 kilometers. As Chris mentioned before, a lot of people actually do a day trip, so they would head over there and get a transfer back in the evening. At the first place we want to stop after we picked our cycle is at the Nelson Car Museum. So we're just walking into the Nelson Classic Museum, Car Museum. It's, as I said before, it's quite a cool place to stop. They have about 150 cars, vintage cars, old timers so to say, in their collection here. It's a private collection, and it goes back all the way 115 years. So look at these beautiful, I think that's a Ford. I mean, it's not only for car enthusiasts, but also when you're just on the cycle trail, pop in and see these beautiful, beautiful old vehicle. Now we are heading down the cycle trail, which used to be the railway actually. Right, on to our next stop, which is Pick's Peanut Butter Factory. Right, we just entered the peanut butter world. And here we have the original peanut butter roaster. It's actually a concrete roaster the owner, the original founder has used. It's been a hugely successful business. We just swing around. We have here Pick's. He is the man who initiated it all. About 2007, he started roasting his peanuts, and this is now the 5th factory, and it's been hugely successful. They produce about 28,000 jars a day, which is enormous, and they're also running daily tours about 3 to 4 times. And I just talked to one of the staff here, and it's highly recommended to book those kinds of tours ahead of arrival, because in the summer season it will be very, very busy and most likely fully booked. So now we're going slightly off the Great Taste Trail into the old factory corner. This is a really cool place with a lot of shops, cafes, and yeah, it's all about food and cheese and wines and beautiful stuff. So let's have a bit of a look and have a bit of a swing around in the individual places. Look at this little treasure. It's called Grape Cafe. It's located outside Richmond. So when you start in Nelson, it's around about an hour or so on the cycle trail after you visited Pick's Peanut Butter. And this is the perfect place to maybe have an early lunch or a late brunch or whatever. It's has a beautiful garden, famous for its cakes, and yeah, coffee of course. It's a natural fit to cyclists coming through. Right, another cool place when stopping at the old factory junction is the junction is called Thorvald cheeses. Look at this. I mean, isn't this phenomenal? The region is really famous for the exceptional foods, especially cheeses here, wines. It's really a place of plenty with local producers. We have here all sorts of mushrooms even. We have olives, black garlic, barbecue sauce. So there's lots of really goodies, specialized goodies and locally produced. Here's a chocolate. Another cool place not far away from the old factory corner is Eyebridge. It's a beautiful setting with a little lake with a playground for children And it has become quite famous during the Christmas season when they sell a lot of Christmassy things. So now here we're inside the Eyebridge. Isn't that amazing? Christmas is coming very soon, so they're gearing up for that special time of the year. It often is packed here in the Christmas season, 2, 3, 4 weeks beforehand. And you can imagine why, because it gives people here in New Zealand that kind of Christmassy feel. So let's talk about the surface on the Great Taste Trail. You often have gravel surface, but you also get these beautiful board cycle trails, which are going here in this instance, going over the mud flats. So when you're riding along, just make sure to stop at places. And especially these notice boards here are really cool because they give you kind of an idea of the history. Like the Maori population, the local indigenous Maori population, it's been around for 800 years. And the early settlers, the European settlers, came in the 1840s. Nelson was founded in 1841. So please make sure to stop and really embrace the local history, and also hear a bit of information about the bird life. When you're cycling along the Great Taste Trail, you also will use some of the local backcountry roads like we do right now. Now we're heading over one of those purpose-built cycling bridges. The cycle trail really was initiated out of the global financial crisis time, so in the late 2000s. The idea came up to actually embrace cycling as part of the tourism strategy, and it has worked very well. All over New Zealand, we have now these beautiful established cycle trails, and the Great Taste Trail is obviously one of them, one of the highlights. Still a little bit underrated, but highly recommend to actually do it. So here we are, cycling along Rabbit Island Beach. Rabbit Island Beach is famous in the summer season, lots of people coming out here. It's a perfect, safe bathing beach and great for families. You see, there's a lot of driftwood, and it's used to build structure. So there are signposts everywhere along the cycle trail, blue signposts, so you can't miss your way. But we're heading towards the ferry now, and that's one important thing for you to remember, is the ferry goes every hour in the summer season, only on the weekends in the winter season. So that's very important to keep in mind. So we're slowly approaching the Mapua ferry terminal. As mentioned before, it's going every hour. So here we are, we actually just in time and seeing the ferry crossing over right as we speak. Look at that, perfect timing. Finally made it to Mapua Wharf. It's a very special place actually. I'll live nearby and we come here quite a bit really. You have on the right hand side we have the Golden Beer. It's a kind of a pub, also a microbrewery, and especially the area it's famous for growing hop, but we'll get there into the next station of our trip through the Great Taste Trail. Here we have Alberta's Coffee, which is a local coffee place, obviously very, very popular with bicyclists. So a great place once you arrive. head over here and yeah, relax and enjoy. As you see it, the ride is not that long from Nelson coming over here, so most people arrive about 3 to 4 o'clock, and I would highly recommend also to check out the wharf. We're heading there now and having a quick look around, and one of my most favorite spots here is on the right hand side is the Maritime Museum. It's a beautiful little treasure which yeah, it's often kind of those kinds of places are underrated, but we might have a quick look in there and check it out. But first of all, I mean, look at this stunning view, the Waimea Channel coming from Tasman Bay, heading all the way inland. And in the background we have the Richmond range. So that was the first day on the Great Cycle Trail, heading from Nelson to Mapua Wharf. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, can't wait to show you the next part of the journey, heading towards Motueka and the Eyebridge Tasman National Park. I can't help myself to show you around this little treasure, the Mapua Maritime Museum. It's yeah, it's just walking in and getting a little bit, learning about the history of the place. The Mapua Wharf, in a very short description, was used as a port for exporting the apples. There was a lot of apples grown in the area, still are. So there's a orchard industry, and because the roads were that bad, they started building the wharf. So now we're heading into one of these art places, Forest Fusion. It's one of my favorite here in the Mapua Wharf area. It's next to all local. I just talked to the manager here and she confirmed that most of the pieces are actually done in a 10, 15, 20 minutes radius from the Mapua Wharf area. So it's one of these special places you just want to pop in if you have the time and just see these incredible pieces, and maybe even get a souvenir when you head back home. So highly recommend it. So last but not least, when you're in Mapua Wharf, you need to do a picture of yourself at the famous Mapua window. And it's been a pleasure showing you around today. Can't wait to show you more of the Great Taste Trail. We're heading towards the Eyebridge Tasman, Upper Motueka area with the next video. Looking forward to see you there. Bye.